why don't you try and intro it?
Okay. What are we talking about again? The ethics of business can be summarized in...
Ethics are...
Alright, I guess I'll handle the intro today. Ubisoft.
Okay, Ubisoft. And...
Perfect intro. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I'm taking over the hosting duties. Sam is preparing 2 tissues.
Sorry, I was going to prepare 2 tissues. I'll watch that video later.
Today, we wanted to talk quickly about Ubisoft. It has actually been doing fairly well in the last little while. They've done well to improve and fix their games. They've actually done quite well, particularly with regards to Rainbow Six Siege and The Division, both of which launched in a truly horrendous state.
Siege wasn't that bad. We enjoyed it a lot, but it
No,
has gotten
Siege
a
was
lot better.
very, very bad at launch in terms of bugs and glitches and all that sort of stuff. Very bad. Famously bad, in fact. But over the last 3 years, they worked very hard to improve that game, and it's now one of the leading shooters on the market. It's actually one of my favorite games.
Oh, 100%. We've played a lot of that game together.
Siege is brilliant. Like, just a brilliant game. The other one is The Division. Now, The Division is a game that I personally haven't played much of.
Oh, that's right. I think you played like 10 minutes of it or something.
About 10 or 15 minutes of, but I've heard that it's really good. I've been watching some YouTube videos.
Yeah, there's this good guy out there that actually is pretty shit, actually.
And
I wouldn't watch him.
And the game has undergone a bit of a transformation. It was very, very rocky and very broken at the start, and they've done a huge amount of work to broaden out the end game, add new features, fix PvP in inverted commas, and fix all the bugs associated with it as well. And now it's in a spectacular state. So hats off, Ubisoft. You guys are doing it right.
That's so true. There's not many like developers or publishers that are out there. Like, if a game's a little bit broken, they go, you know what, fuck it, let's fix this. Let's make sure it's actually really, really good.
I think what they'll do is they'll do like the short, easy fixes.
That's what I mean. Like, they'll do short things, but they're not in for the long haul, like Warframe has been. You know, or Siege, or, you know, Division, you're right.
Yeah. So it's been good times for Ubisoft. Am I right, guys? Indeed. So, Ubisoft have just pulled some really shady shit. So the first thing they did was Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now this is a game that launched to limited critical acclaim, as in the critics weren't too thrilled, but it sold a boatload. Do you know that Ghost Recon Wildlands was actually one of the top 5 selling games of last year?
Shit.
Swear to God. It sold through the roof.
Wow.
Because it's just a whole bunch of people who love military shooters.
You don't hear a lot about it though.
It crossed over into that casual territory, that Call of Duty kind of, you know, that territory that we don't hear about as core gamers that much.
It's never in the headlines.
Never in the headlines, but sold an absolute truckload, massively successable for Ubisoft. Now, a year after release, they've just decided they're going to improve the gameplay experience by adding loot boxes.
They've obviously just been on the phone to EA, like, hey guys, how are you making so much money? How are you so evil? Can you just tell us how you're that evil?
So, the loot boxes are just cosmetic, and it's just there. No one wants this, okay? No one wants this at all. I don't understand how Ubisoft could be such a good guy for so long, improving their games, making them better, just truly building out their in-game experiences while simultaneously tacking on this shit.
The thing is, right, it's such a dirty word now, and for them to implement it now, they would of course seen the whole kerfuffle that happened with all these other publishers.
Yeah.
To implement it now, I think, is not only it's bad timing, but it's also, it's really making a statement. It's really making a statement like, hey guys, we know it's a dirty word now, we know people are pissed off, and we know people feel like they're getting ripped off by just us implementing loot boxes, especially in a game that didn't even have them at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it just says, like, you know, we're happy to go with the trend with the dirty word. You know, we're happy to just implement these. We know it'll piss people off, but we'd rather make sure that we're making more money than, like, maintaining the brand.
But Ubisoft saved their dickishest move for Rainbow Six Siege, their absolute darling of their lineup right now. They've just announced, and then unannounced actually, but they announced recently, they already backpedaled. They announced recently that they were going to increase the price of the standard edition of the game to $60. So this is a game that had gone down to an average of about $40 in the past.
Sometimes like 25 or something.
It's on. You can get it on sale for like $10 sometimes. Like cheap, man, super cheap. And they just decided that because it's doing really well, they're going to increase the price to $60 full price. And the way that they're making up for that, the way they're compensating people, is that they are actually going to be adding some cosmetic items for free, some loot boxes that you get for a special event that is being run. you get that for free, I guess, and some credits as well that you can use in the premium store to buy some more cosmetics.
Look, I think, if a game's going really well, I understand that you wouldn't drop the price even further.
Yeah.
But the price that you have now got it at, I think that is the price.
That's it, man.
Just because now that your game is going really well, fine, you're going to continue to make more and more money based on it's going really well. Find other ways to make more money, in a respectable way. Don't be like, hey, our game's going well, let's just screw people over now and double the price.
And then we'll make them double it. Huh? Well, why can't I be greedy once in a while?
It's a 3-year-old game now. It is 3 years old.
Yeah, and it absolutely deserves every dollar of that $60. Don't get me wrong. It's not the case of the game is not worth $60. It's a case of you've been charging X amount for a certain time, and now you're going to charge more than that arbitrarily. It leaves a bad taste in the consumer's mouth. And the worst part is, and this is where the community really pushed back, this idea that you are stopping new players from joining the game. This is a game that's always going to be hopefully alive. It's always going to have a community. But that only happens if you keep welcoming new players in, because people naturally quit video games. If it's a $60 price tag, it's literally competing with brand new release games.
Yeah.
So your average gamer is going to look at that and think, well, should I buy this game that's 3 years old, $60? Or should I buy Halo 6, $60? That's the choice they'll have to make.
Yeah.
And, the Siege community was really worried that they were going to have less players coming through as a result of that.
Which might happen, which may happen.
Well, in response, they've actually just backtracked on this now. They've said that, and I'll read the exact quote here because I think it is... it's quite telling. This is the full quote here, which you can see, but I won't read out. The most important part is, for any newcomers and those of you concerned about introducing your friends to the game, we will be keeping the standard edition in the store at the current price.
I like that. Look, I think it's good that they've turned around and said, we stuffed up, and it's quick too. It was relatively quick.
Yeah, it was. Just a weekend turnaround.
A lot of publishers and developers, they just dig their heels in, like, no, this is what we're doing.
Especially when it comes to money.
Yeah, it's good that they've turned around so quickly and they're very conscious of their brand. They're conscious of their reputation. They want to make sure that people don't feel like they're getting screwed over, which ultimately was what was happening.
Yeah.
It's a 3-year-old game. It's not full price anymore. It's just not. It is lower. You can't then charge people full price because it's now become successful again.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. So I'm glad that we can say one good thing about this whole situation is that they've come back and said, you know what, guys, we're not going to do that now.
Yeah. It seems like Ubisoft have maybe overstepped here and then stepped back, which is nice. The Ghost Recon Wildlands loot boxes is disappointing. It's still going to be in there. Nothing's going to change there. But at least here they walked this change back.
I agree.
And protected their reputation, at least on their darling game.
That's Ubisoft. Up next, Far Cry. And I'm very excited. I'm actually very excited about that. Because when we did play it, it looked sick and the narrative looked super interesting. So there's some good stuff up and coming.
For sure. Hopeful. Please, Ubisoft, don't wreck Far Cry.
We'll have to see. We'll probably see loot boxes, and if the game goes well, they'll double the price or some shit.
A year after launch, $120 game.